Minister of Environment, Emiri Osem. What actions is the government taking to properly and sustainably manage solid waste in Gizo, Noro, Munda, and Auki? Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question, Leader of Opposition, Brother Bloom. Before me touch base on actual answers to that question, just for as a background, me like for giving additional information to the House no more. That let me remind the House that under the Constitution of the country, the devolved responsibility for waste management have also set down for provincial governments and Honora City Council for the various aspects of the protection and management of the environment. This is under the Provincial Government Act 1997, Schedule 3, under 26, subsection 3, which identifies waste disposal as a function of the provincial assemblies. Now let me touch base on the actual answers to the question. Mr. Speaker, solid waste management is a national issue and remains a huge challenge for our provincial centres and Honora City Council. The ministry, my ministry, MECDM, is implementing a number of projects to improve solid waste management and pollution control. There are a number of projects that have a specific focus on Western Province. That's for Gizo, Noro, and Munda. The first of those projects is the Japanese Technical Project for Promotion of Regional Initiative on Solid Waste Management, PRISM 2 and 3. The PRISM project is JICA-funded technical assistance project implemented in 9 Pacific countries, including Solomon Islands. Phase 1 is implemented from 2019 to 2023, and Phase 2 from 2024 to 2028. Both phases of the project, Mr. Speaker, support solid waste management in Gizo. During Phase 2 of the project, the rehabilitation of the Gizo disposal site, it also provided capacity building and training for staff of the Gizo Town Council and Province. The current Phase 3 project supports Gizo Town Council to develop its waste management plan, waste collection system and disposal site. The second project, Mr. Speaker, is Park Waste Plus project. This is an EU-funded regional project that is implemented in 14 Pacific Island countries, including Solomon Islands. It supports Gizo Town Council to construct a composite facility at the current disposal site to divert organic waste from Gizo market and households. This work, Mr. Speaker, is currently being implemented on site. A market waste audit was conducted prior to construction of the composite facility. The project also provides awareness and education to Gizo market vendors and empowers them to manage waste from the market. Mr. Speaker, my ministry also supported Gizo Town Council with a backhoe machine for the operation in the landfill through the Sustainable Waste Action Plan, regional project coordinated by my ministry. For other provincial centres, we are also supporting through these projects as well as other projects that the ministry is coordinating. We will continue to support our provincial centres through other programs and promote best waste management practice, Mr. Speaker. The other third and the final project under my ministry is the proposed Western Province Sustainable Urban Development Project. Following request from my ministry, the Asian Development Bank, ADB, fielded a reconnaissance mission in August 2022 for the proposed Western Province Sustainable Urban Development Project. The objective of this mission was to discuss and agree on the overarching concept and approach for the proposed project. The project, when implemented, Mr. Speaker, will strengthen municipal service delivery and urban development in the Western Province and directly improve the living standards of the townships of Gizo, Noro, and Munda. Mr. Speaker, the project will clarify the roles and responsibilities between the province and the local government, strengthening capacity of the Western Provincial Government and its 3 largest towns of Gizo, Noro, and Munda to progressively deliver to to their mandates and service delivery structures. Munda will benefit through more formalized land planning schemes and services provided by an enhanced and more competent Noro Town Council. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Any supplementary question or answers? Thank you, Member for Small Malaita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Me one for Savenoma, if Lo Gizo, the Minister, he say some projects are being implemented there, and I think if Miherambu, one for now, Lo prison, to address this problem, then Narawan Lo Gizo market. So I'm just wondering whether the residents know, you may know, Sabe what not might happen if there's anything to address the this sort of problem in terms of the rest of the township. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, MP for Small Malaita, for the question. As alluded by the MP for Small Malaita, I'm clear now whether this waste management they cover in 2 households. Mr. Speaker, under the Park Waste Plus project, I'm covering both the market and the household in Gizo. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Leader for opposition.
Thank you, sir. So, Gizo, does that include a little bit big problem? I mean, it's a big problem everywhere, including here. We were recently Gizo, and we felt drive past along rubbish tip here. And of course, because the residences here expand outside the town and go pass into rubbish place here, go on our side here. So does that include go Berem place here and remedial action for remediating ground law there? What does it entail? The site we saw was also no anything change here, rubbish here, substance no by me technical assistance go, but no anything no more sense. Munda is much the same. Side no more airport here. You go look him sorry, embar look no good to my man. And Noro this was go more. So I mean it's great that we're getting technical assistance for study and look lo embata. Was something happening on the ground here, no? You mean like for looking. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question, Leader of Opposition. Yeah, the ministry will collaborate with the finances, the donors, and also, as I've said earlier, in the opening of my speech, the mandate also falls law of the provincial authorities. So, but as the ministry responsible, we will collaborate with those ministries and authorities for ensure you may address not issues raised by the Leader of Opposition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for South Malaita. Small Malaita, thank you.
Thank you for the correction, Mr. Speaker. Still Giza, but this is a situation where, Mr. Speaker, me worry that Baham is spoiling tourism sector along Western Province overall. Time me will stop Giza just recently. Me to talk with the management, and time me will stop a high tide. Yeah, me will go out along a boat. I'm high tide, so you look him on Sunday and so Sunday for float lo front lo hotel no bar look good yeah. Lo dress drain just immediately lo hotel as you go inside. And the management, well, this manager was expressing awesome one problem, big problem no Aoke no hotel yeah. I'm not talking about what Narawan, but I would imagine everyone lo Gizo, not only the residents and not only market, but what people were providing accommodation for tourists and travelers. And I would imagine that's also happening in places on Longo, Munda and others. So I want to know whether the government also as a matter of policy, whether government here will work with them other ministries for addressing this, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question from MP for Small Malaita. I will get the detailed answer on that and by a legal pigeonhole, but in terms of the policy oversight, as you have rightly said, Mr. Speaker, yes, it's under the ministry, but specific roles on how to manage and when by managing or get the issues in terms of solid waste, him falls within the jurisdiction law or the provincial authorities to it. But let's not turn a blind eye to it, Mr. Speaker. I'll take on board this to ensure that there is a policy, and we will collaborate more with the stakeholders who deal with the waste management law Gizo for me for addressing the issue, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Leader Opposition.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that it is part law, devolved function go law provinces, and rightly so, because over now live and deal with it, but they lack the resources for deal with him. So I think the role for ministry to play is still a very big one. And I'm wondering whether there is some kind of a formal mechanism. So it's just not a project by project basis, but that there is an ongoing, there's a mechanism that Hemi forcing ministry to be liaising with all provincial governments and Ogata town councils to make sure, one, there are some standards, those standards are being met. If they're not being met, why not? Then is need for capacity, ministry and help for buttressing that one, but that there is proper sustainable long-term management of solid waste. And of course some of that has to go with sewer, salmon water, low side Ogata sewage system or some Gizo hotel hemi complain them sewage system loget and go out normal wharf lo Gizo e no front lo hotel, so it's a problem. So that's what I would like to know from the Minister. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Points raised well noted. Thank you.
Member for East Harare.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and let me join others in saying it's a pleasure to see you sitting there and presiding over us this morning. Congratulations once again. Just for supplementary question, Mr. Speaker, in terms of the whole framework that we need to talk about now, policy, and also the costing part of it. I think that one time, Milak asked him, when you look at all these issues that by him continue to come up and probably get even more important as towns start to get into cities, and also solid waste management is a big issue for anywhere around the world. Costing law, things also around all our administrative centers, including of course Honiara. I think that one too, in terms of the policy, if I look around that one too, Minister. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Leader of Independent, for that question. Yes, the Ministry is coordinating the work in terms of trying to make sure we manage not only for Western Province, but all of the provincial centers, including Honora City Council, in managing the solid waste management. As you have rightly said, Mr. Speaker, finance or cost is always an issue. And I'm happy raising that one today, Mr. Speaker, because you will expect in the coming tabling of the budget for next year, we will be bringing in quite a substantive budget to address solid waste in the country, especially the provincial centers and Honora City Council. So if that comes under the development budget, we hope the House understands and sees the importance of it, so we will support the budget by Ministry for addressing it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Member for West Harare.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I join colleagues to also comment you sit down on big chair, and may blessings and continue to be upon you and strengthen you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary question. Thank you, Minister, for the answer. Inside the project, you totok lohem kam. with him and consultation with him with the authorities. Is there a plan for Yumi Berry Mokataya so that the machine you give him konoma, Yumi Koko Antanik law ground with the Mokata? You have the such plan in those projects and also in your consultation? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question from MP for West Saeraghi. I'll get a proper response on your question and then feed him, all of you, by me putting my opinion on that question, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Member for South Vonavona.
West.
West Vonavona, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary question, Noma. The issue of disposal of rubbish of Munda and Noro has been there for a while. And I understand that some follow-up has been done. Mila Kasnoma, if you are locating any sites finished for relocation. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As MP for West Vonavona, and we mentioned it, yes, work for Noro, Munda, and particularly where Honorable MPM come from, Munda, work has been done. No identify which is the site, but there is a discussion on the site for the disposal of the waste. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Leader,
Thank
so
you.
wind up your question, Louis.
Last question. No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Every answer below Minister so far, hemi Gizo, Noro, Munda, but Auki, like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I've said earlier, in terms of waste management, the focus is not only for Western Province. Whilst the current project focus more on Western Province, we are also looking at Auki currently in terms of solid waste management. The issue of Auki also boils down to land issue. Yeah? So if MP for Auki Langalanga have got many site or sabe the problem, nor our land must for input solid waste management. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Opposition Leader.
Yes, thank you. Me laugh or me cry over that. This waste issue is a big issue from Lata, go down Kasim lo Taro. Taro tu a problem to you, man. It seems wherever you meet building market centers or there is a population density, you need a waste problem because we have not been very good at planning and then compliance with any plans you may get. So perhaps there is a need to look at a more comprehensive approach where we also planning but legislation and then compliance and enforcement to ensure that there are sustainable practices, low waste management. But perhaps also, this is a global human problem. Waste is a problem everywhere. So perhaps it'd be good to look at what other similar kinds of jurisdictions, economies do, where it's sustainable and then not too costly, so we can benefit from such experiences. But with that, sir, I do thank the Honourable Minister for his responses. Let me move to the next question.
Thank you.
Okay, question 35, Emigolo, favorite minister Blumi. Yeah, no member below CKC. And the question, let me read also. Are the Gizo town roads and Gizo Saeraghi road included in the ministry work program for 2025? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition, for the question. But first, let me congratulate the Speaker for your role as well. Yes, so basically the Gizo Town Road covered under the Course 2 project. A few sections of it where it's deemed necessary will be sealed by that project. However, this for the Gizo Saeraghi Road, to answer your question, it's not in the scope of MID. One of the urgent waka wemvalukium that needed to be addressed is the eroding seafront warfare And so that's where Ministry prioritizing for addressing this year's scope. The Saeraghi road there, it's been scoped, but by coming if next budget, because of the lack of, the limited amount of resources and funds that we have, we try for local, which are the urgent matters. And so Ministry deemed that the eroding seafront Gizo warfare important. But the township is covered under the Course 2 project, which will be rolled out very shortly. Thank you.
Minister MID, Opposition Leader.
Yeah, thank you. I'm good. You almost finished him scoping for Saeraghi, Gokasim Saeraghi. It's such a beautiful place, and me affecting tourism too. Man for life go swim no side see nice sun beach no side no sa go now because it is quite an ordeal to get in a vehicle and go there, and our taxi operator no much willing for go there because already it's a it's a bit of a challenge to navigate the road. So, but I'm happy to note by look for next year. I'm good for doing next year. Within the town itself, Hemi go up low residence, go up low hill. Hemi included inside low course program for 2025. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition. So basically, the Course 2 project mainly just covers the town centers, not necessarily up the residences or up low hill. So yeah, low town centers, that's the priority.
Leader.
Hey, Miss sorry for hearing this one. You go up low road here, man. Why you rush back to here? So it does require some investment, that road, and I'm good. Gizo town itself is very, very small. If you're just focusing on the township, Roadlow Township, it is very small, very short, not many kilometers involved, and so perhaps there might be, within current resource constraints, there might be room to do a bit more. Aoke residents up on Tablo Hill still part of Gizo no mo, full island blogaman so town no mo. So it'd be good if road go up here could also be included in the 2025 or no good to us 2026 budget, so work can happen. The other is the need, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that some minimum standards are being adhered to in the construction of the infrastructure, so that we know that whatever we're doing, and we don't have to redo it more in another few years' time almost. So we're forever filling up potholes, and also that there is a long-term life to these infrastructures. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Leader.
Yes, the Ministry is working on standards for the improvement of roads. So basically, as much as we see that the residents are necessary, we have a very large geographical area to cover with very minimal resources. And so the Ministry is working at least spreading out a little bit Wale or other provinces as well. So when we see certain roads or infrastructures being covered by our developing partners or agencies, before looking or saying before a little bit for another replacement, because as we know, everywhere no more road no good there. So we're working on addressing everyone a little bit everywhere in the interim because of the limited resources. But with the standards for construction, we've already, the building code is going to be introduced in Parliament, and for the standards for the roads, that's what we're working on as well, because a lot of public complaints and a lot of taxpayers' money is being used for the constant repairs. So it's something that our ministry prioritizes and are working on.
Thank you, Minister. Opposition Leader.
Yeah, thank you. Government announced policy, I think 2 years ago, for re-establishing PWD every centers here, and that is a good proposal, so that much of this work repair happen now. Pothole him up here today, tomorrow I got to go fix him now. Government workers now go, contractors more. So it is a very good proposal. Where are we with regards to that, so that each of these centers should have a PWD and appropriate equipment and manpower. They're able to attend to these things, so we're not forever spending big money. Thank you, sir.
Minister.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition. Yes, I think the reestablishment of the PWD is a matter that the government takes seriously, and for Mifala Ministry, Mifala planning phases here, and we're working on case studies and something for Faselemna developing partners and how they could assist us in the establishment of PWD. So at the moment, we're developing case studies and business plans on how it will work, how where we start with him. So the ideal is basically start lo Honiara first, and then slowly work towards establishing backlog provinces here. But at this stage, we will continue low planning stage, and hopefully soon we'll bring something to the Parliament.
Thank you, Minister. Leader.
Yeah, I do wish to thank the Honourable Minister. You know, start Lohoniara first time. You start everywhere no more. I mean, it's not a hugely big something. And this time, every province, I think, got him sister relationship with him, with province of China now too, yeah. But you ask him about sister blooming of China, give him bulldozer and machine. They're, they're big on infrastructure. That's an area of strength. And you miss a sign him MOU with him that I am sure that can facilitate that kind of thing. So I think big, and no start small, start big too. The amount of roads in these centers are not too big to us. But of course, provincial roads outside of those centers are big, and so gradually work our way, our reach, look at the roads here. But with that, sir, I do wish to thank the Honourable Minister for Infrastructure for his responses. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all where you contribute law, questioning and answering. Now, I'd like to thank you. Let us move on to the next item of business.
Bills, second reading, the Special Economic Zone Bill 2024.
Honourable members, the second reading of the Special Economic Zone Bill 2024 was moved on the 15th of May. Debate commenced today. May I kindly remind members to comply with the rules of debate set out in our standing orders. As may we debate, respecting one another inside the words we're using, tones whereby you use them, and remember that we are before the nation. So now the floor is open for debate. Thank you, Leader of Opposition.
Right, okay, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for your guidance before debate start. Thank you for the opportunity for contribute to this very important bill. Mr. Speaker, at the outset, let me first congratulate the Minister. Hey, you move and all his predecessors too, of course, and the staff of the ministry for the effort put into the policy that has now culminated in this bill. So I wish to also register my thanks to the various officials and agencies that comprise the task force that took carriage of this very important policy. I wish also, sir, to congratulate the government and those before it that have persevered with this policy over so many years to see it come to fruition in this bill. The ministry informed the Bills Committee, sir, that they'd spent 15 years all up in developing the policy in its various stages, and I wish to recognize those efforts and achievements. I wish to single out, sir, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, who has provided steadfast leadership to the entire process, and congratulate him for what is quite an achievement. Leadership is important at the technical level to these initiatives. Sir, the task force and ministry conducted consultations, also Minister Hem Informa Mumi, at various locations and with various stakeholders throughout the country, and visited at least one fellow special economic zone or China sometime before the submission of the bill to the House at the end of 2024. Another visit to a special economic zone in Papua New Guinea was only recently conducted in April 2025. As a country, Mr. Speaker, Solomon Islands has struggled to attract the quality and size of investments that would be game changers for our economy, beyond the earlier pioneer industries of Solomon Tayo, NFT, GPOL, and so forth, and others in various iterations. So it is not an understatement to say that Solomon Islands has seemed to hit a bottleneck in seeing quality, sizable investments enter the country. The issues that conspire to cause the bottleneck, sir, are important to understand to inform government policy responses. It is right, Mr. Speaker, that government should be concerned about the basis for this bottleneck and seek to address the policy issues associated with it. Sir, it is important to also bear in mind that Solomon Islands is in competition with other nation states for the foreign investment dollar. If we do not appreciate that we are competing with other economies for foreign investment, sir, then our attitude towards foreign investors will be one of callous disregard for what would entice them to invest their money in our economy. Further, sir, on the social level, if we do not appreciate that we are in competition for the foreign investment dollar, we risk a racist attitude towards foreign investors that undermines any efforts to attract them. It is also important, sir, that we appreciate investments, whether foreign or local, must make business profits. Our approach must be one to make it possible and reasonably foreseeable for investors to make reasonable business profits. Ultimately, sir, it is profits that is the one sure incentive to attract foreign investment to our economy. If a business would be profitable without fiscal incentives, private investment will jump at the opportunity regardless. However, sir, if a business will only be profitable with fiscal incentives, then that's the situation this bill is designed to induce. Sir, that will be an important determination going forward as this bill is implemented. At the policy level, Mr. Speaker, our attitude must also change from the current posture that implies that foreign investors owe us something, which leads us to begrudge their presence in our midst. It needs to change to one that cherishes foreign investment. Sir, it is because Solomon Islands is in competition with other countries for foreign investment that we must ask ourselves, how can we make our economy a point of difference over and above our competitors? What would make a foreign investor choose Solomon Islands over, say, Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, or Fiji, or any other country? Ease of doing business, certainty, predictable governance and decision-making, fair and reasonable taxation, ease of moving funds across borders, macroeconomic stability, land tenure, education, skilled workforce, a reasonable quality health system, security, professional policing, efficient and corrupt-free court system, a low cost of living, low cost of energy, low cost of communications, transportation networks, low or minimal corruption, and such other issues, sir, come to the fore as policy considerations. It is therefore important, Mr. Speaker, that robust policy responses are also targeted at these issues to create the conducive enabling environment we need for foreign investment. If we ignore these other issues, sir, even with the best investment schemes, incentive schemes, we are more likely to attract poor or bad quality investors. So it is a serious risk that must concern us all. Mr. Speaker, to help us see what changes we need to make to attract the quality and size of investments we want to see in Solomon Islands, we need to stand in the shoes of a foreign investor, a credible one, a good quality foreign investor, who has options as destinations for his investment capital, and see what would make Solomon Islands the clear and obvious choice against all other destinations. If we are unable, Mr. Speaker, or unwilling to do this, we will forever be skirting at the edges, and what reforms we make, sir, will not be attractive enough to place us at an advantage over our competitors. On the other hand, Mr. Speaker, we want to attract more foreign investment into Solomon Islands in our quest to develop our country, people, and economy. Developing Solomon Islands, sir, must mean developing Solomon Islanders. Foreign investment that does not develop Solomon Islands cannot be desirable, Mr. Speaker. In that regard, sir, it is useful to see whether a particular investment will add to the progress in the lives of Solomon Islanders. Of course, Mr. Speaker, we must not be simplistic in such determinations, but it is not hard, sir, to gauge whether a particular investment will have positive impacts on Solomon Islanders. We want to see foreign investors, as any other business, make profits and at the same time have a positive impact on Solomon Islanders and using environmentally sustainable practices. These two objectives, sir, must be held in balance. If foreign investors make too much profits and little of any benefits to Solomon Islanders and degrade our environment, that would be exploitative and is a most undesirable outcome. So we know what this looks and feels like from long years of experience with logging. Billions have been made by foreigners, landowners have become poorer after logging, and the environment has been severely degraded. Not a good outcome at all. In today's world, Mr. Speaker, criminal activity in international trade and commerce has become very complex and often very hard to recognize and stop. The trade in illicit goods, drugs, money laundering, and so forth are increasing in volume around the globe, despite the best efforts of countries and international law enforcement institutions to tackle the problem. Complex company setups in tax havens often aid and abet this problem. Not only must Solomon Islands have a robust legal and compliance system, sir, but it must also have the capacity to enforce modernized laws. Sir, Solomon Islands needs to expand its network of tax treaties with many more countries to benefit from reciprocal enforcement agreements and arrangements. Without such a robust legal compliance and enforcement capacity, sir, Solomon Islands is extremely vulnerable to attracting the wrong type of investor who might be interested only precisely because of our weak legal compliance and enforcement systems. We, sir, do not want to see such investors in Solomon Islands ever. So it is an important policy question to ask, Mr. Speaker. Do we have the legal compliance and enforcement capacity to deter, and if they enter, to catch and punish such criminal enterprises? Sir, the bill makes no consequential amendments to other laws, including law enforcement. Without a detailed study into this question, my gut feel is that our laws are mostly outdated and weak in tackling this problem. Worse, our compliance and enforcement capacities are too thin and is further blunted by vulnerability to corruption. This, sir, is an important matter for the government to give urgent attention to. Sir, we know only too well that we are not very good at doing due diligence. We are easily fooled, Mr. Speaker. Past governments have granted land, exemptions, letters of guarantee, and other incentives to supposed wealthy investors who have turned out to be con men. And this, sir, is not an isolated problem. It is a cultural and structural issue for us. We are too easily wowed by those pretending to be wealthy. Worse, if they give us gifts, our culture compels us to accept such gifts and to reciprocate. This, Mr. Speaker, is a very serious weakness for us. A strength in our cultural values that is often exploited by unscrupulous operators, and we become the losers because of it. I'm sure that members can name names over the recent past in these kinds of practices, Mr. Speaker. We are also a very superstitious people, Mr. Speaker, and vulnerable to believe fake information and conspiracies. We believe in get-rich-quick schemes where you put in little money, roll over, and out comes millions and millions of dollars. This is not just a problem for the illiterate, Mr. Speaker. Highly educated Solomon Islanders, including leaders, have fallen for this, Mr. Speaker. You talk to the governor of the central bank and he will tell you a lot about it. It sounds terrible when I say it like that, Mr. Speaker, but tragically, it is a fact. It is true. Sir, overall, the bill is weak in ensuring the integrity of investors, operators, promoters, and beneficial owners. This is a significant defect and will result in pressure on already thin compliance and law enforcement capacity down the line. Mr. Speaker, because of the lack of a legislative scheme such as is presented in this bill to attract foreign investment, we have relied on various tools to offer incentives. Tax and duty exemptions and other incentives offered to investors have been made under the discretion of ministers or cabinet. These, sir, have been on an ad hoc and oftentimes arbitrary basis. Generally, Mr. Speaker, we must conclude that this approach has not been very good or productive for Solomon Islands and, alas, unsustainable. Mr. Speaker, an October 2015 report by the IMF, OECD, UN, and World Bank to the G20 Development Working Group raised a number of issues that are worthy of our consideration as we reflect on this bill. One, that there is often ample room for more effective and efficient use of investment tax incentives in low-income countries, and we are a low-income country. They presented case studies where investment would have been undertaken anyway, even without investment incentives, and that the fiscal cost of investment incentives, sir, can be high, reducing opportunities for much-needed public revenue, government revenue, to be spent on public spending, on infrastructure, public services, or social support, or requiring that higher taxes are imposed on other activities. In our context, sir, I think it's a chicken or egg situation for us. But no work has been done to mitigate any risks under this scenario, Mr. Speaker. How is the authority going to determine whether an investment would be profitable without these incentives, and therefore should not qualify under the schemes? That's going to be an important consideration going forward. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the report notes that effective and efficient use of tax incentives requires that they are carefully designed. That should go without saying. Tax credits and accelerated depreciation yield more investment per dollar spent than costly tax holidays and income tax exemptions up front in attracting investment, the report notes. Further, tax incentives targeted at sectors producing for domestic markets or extractive industries generally have little impact, while those geared toward export-oriented sectors and mobile capital appear to be relatively effective. Sir, that enabling conditions, good infrastructure, macroeconomic stability, rule of law, etc., are important for effectiveness. I fear, sir, that the incentive scheme contained in the schedules are inconsistent with this finding. And this, Mr. Speaker, may be the result of a poor policy formulation process. Further, the bottleneck issues have not been given the due considerations they deserve. This neglect lends the scheme vulnerable at the very least, Mr. Speaker. It is almost as if there is just one model and that's the model. We've not looked at options to glean the benefits from various experiences. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, the report notes that good governance of incentives is critical for their effectiveness and efficiency. Transparency is necessary to facilitate accountability and reduce opportunities for rent-seeking and corruption. Tax incentives should therefore be subject to legislative process, consolidated under the tax law, and their fiscal costs reviewed annually as part of a tax expenditure review. Sir, the granting of exemptions should be based on rules rather than on discretion. Now report I am recommending. The proposals in the bill, sir, meet this particular finding. And fourthly, the report notes that the effectiveness and efficiency of tax incentives isn't readily accessible due to the lack of appropriate data, analytical tools, and skills. On this score, sir, I am extremely disappointed. There was no attempt at modeling by the relevant agencies. no attempt to even understand the experiences and lessons from PNG and Fiji, who have operated special economic zones for quite some time. The visit to Papua New Guinea in April 25 was only after it was raised by the Bills Committee, and the committee was not informed of any lessons from that visit. So I was quite disappointed that neither the ministry nor the task force knew of the existence of the report. I had expected that in the initial phases of policy formulation, there would have been a basic literature review to get a good comprehensive handle on all issues relating to special economic zones and investment incentive schemes and what we might learn from those. And some of those deficiencies in that process, sir, have a direct result in the kinds of choices made in the bill. Sir, the report found that fixed incentive schemes tend to attract companies that were likely to be profitable during the term of the incentives. It further found that such companies abandoned their operations at the expiry of the incentives. The report provided case studies where such happened in various jurisdictions. Again, there was no attempt made to understand why that is the case or was the case in those jurisdictions and what steps might be taken in our efforts to mitigate against that risk. Mr. Speaker, one of the witnesses that appeared before the Bills Committee, representing a large company in Solomon Islands, explained that their business revenue cycle is 16 years. Further, their investments suffer from the high freight rates to markets, and therefore they need scale, volume, to lower the freight costs. This is just the reality. Freight rates from anywhere to Solomon Islands, strangely, is the most expensive in the world. He noted that processing would give them a distinct advantage. It would create scale, and therefore they would be exporting more and therefore can bargain for lower freight rates. But they are unable to. He observed that such long-term investments that do not recoup their investments over a long period of time are effectively excluded from the proposals contained in this bill. He wondered why this is the case, that they should be excluded. He further observed, Mr. Speaker, it is such long revenue cycle industries that tend to create long-term sustainable jobs and support business opportunities for indigenous Solomon Islanders. So I have to agree with his observations. It is clear from this, sir, that the consultation process not only suffered from the lack of a comprehensive literature review, but also from a lack of depth in its consultations by neglecting to seek out the views of potential industry participants in a special economic zone, to understand the business cycles of each and ensure that the proposals could be as inclusive as possible. As it is, Mr. Speaker, the scheme proposes a one-size-fits-all model that is more likely to prejudice long business cycle industry. And this, sir, is a serious oversight. I am left to wonder, Mr. Speaker, what the impact would have been on policy choices had the ministry and task force had the benefit of a comprehensive literature review, conducted proper modeling and analysis, studied data points from special economic zone experiences in PNG and Fiji, and ensured that there was more depth in industry consultations. Had those been done, Mr. Speaker, I am of the opinion that at the very least, the incentive scheme proposed in the schedules would look different and be more targeted at ensuring they are fit for purpose and induce the right quality of investments and mitigate against the risk of attracting exploitative, opportunistic investors, still a serious risk under the current proposals. As it is, sir, the one-size-fits-all approach may be problematic. This, sir, cannot be cured by regulations. So let me now turn briefly to the bill itself and make just a few brief observations. I will not go into all the recommendations made by the Bills Committee. I'll let the Chairman do justice to those. However, I'll just touch on a few of the recommendations for the benefit of the House. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, the structure of the bill. In adopting the recommendation of the Chairman of the Law Reform Commission, the Bills Committee recommends that Parts 8, 9 and 10 be moved to become the new Parts 2, 3 and 4. This, sir, will give the bill a natural flow and offer much better clarity and be consistent with the primary object of the bill in establishing an authority to regulate special economic zones. This is a sensible recommendation, Mr. Speaker. Further, I urge the government to pay more attention to bills as they liaise with the drafting unit throughout the process. It might be good practice, Mr. Speaker, to consult with the Law Reform Commission for their views on bills before final decisions are made. Depending on drafting personnel, Mr. Speaker, I have noticed changes in language, style, and even structure in bills over the years. Of course, some of these are neither here nor there and may be a sign of changing times. You missed that for all or nine. Me old-fashioned a little bit. And I admit I am a little old school, old grammar, and I do prefer concise, precise language in law as opposed to a more colloquial approach. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the committee noted with great disappointment the lack of proper competent data analysis to support the policy choices made in the bill. Further, sir, there was no modelling by both Customs and Inland Revenue to inform the proposals contained in the schedules at the very least. There were just too many assumptions that were made. Both agencies, sir, were part of the task force responsible for this policy and bill. These are both significant gaps in the policy process that have had a significant impact on the choices that have been made in the bill, Mr. Speaker. It is entirely feasible, sir, and reasonable to expect that there will be some level of business migration that will happen as private capital is attracted by the incentives on offer. Sir, this will have a direct impact on government revenues. But because no modelling was done, it is not possible to assess the level of risk involved and what would mitigate that risk. Mr. Speaker, a careful study of the experiences of Fiji and Papua New Guinea would have been very useful to inform the bill. This was not done. No work was done to understand the implications of the options of upfront GST and duty exemption incentives and profit tax holidays, as has been adopted in the bill, against the recommendation of that IMF report, that of tax credits and accelerated depreciation. Such a study, sir, would have undoubtedly had an impact on the types and scheme of incentives offered in the schedules. This, sir, is extremely disappointing. This work, Mr. Speaker, is essential and should be mandatory to informing policy process before the bill was crafted. I urge the government to do this work even at this late stage, Mr. Speaker. I would, sir, prefer the scheme contained in the schedules be changed to reflect this approach. This is not a matter that can be cured through regulations, Mr. Speaker. Sir, it is assumed throughout the policy process and in the bill that this policy initiative will result in increased job opportunities for our people. Of course, we all want to see this happen. We want more jobs for our people, good paying jobs, sustainable jobs. But this assumption, Mr. Speaker, is riddled with risk. Highly mechanized operations requiring little manpower are entirely possible under these proposals, to say nothing of our own supply of skilled workers. The bill does not tie incentives to the number of jobs created and sustained, Mr. Speaker. There is no minimum employment threshold for any of the incentives. Sir, this is a terrible and tragic oversight. Again, a cursory review of experiences of our neighbors would have picked up on this important issue for policy considerations. Again, regulations cannot cure this. Mr. Speaker, as it is, the bill does not reward a developer of a special economic zone beyond the same incentives offered to operators. A developer will arguably assume more risk and invest more capital to ensure that a special economic zone meets minimum standards set in the bill. However, unless the developer is an operator itself, the bill does not provide a way for the developer to recoup its investments and make reasonable profits from its investments and efforts. This, Mr. Speaker, is a serious and significant defect in the bill. It must be rectified, as nothing will happen unless a developer first invests in a special economic zone. The bill assumes, Mr. Speaker, that a developer will also be an operator and therefore be rewarded as an operator. But as you know, Mr. Speaker, a developer who is not an operator has no way of gaining a return on its investment. This, sir, is a distinct disincentive to developers, and again, regulations cannot cure it. So we know that generally our laws are weak and need updating. Our compliance mechanisms, likewise, are generally weak and need modernizing. And our law enforcement capacities are inadequate and often compromised by corruption. Sir, this presents a serious challenge to the success of the proposals in the bill, and importantly, to deter and mitigate criminal behavior and activity. There was no work done, Mr. Speaker, to inform policy on the needs in these important areas and what investments would be required to meet the challenges that might come due to the new dynamics introduced by this bill. This, again, Mr. Speaker, is a serious oversight in the policy process. Sir, there is no need to be defensive in the face of these gaps. This is such an important policy initiative that we all want to succeed, and we all want it to start on the right note and start well. But the gaps are significant, as it is, sir. I am not privy to the founding mandates given in terms of references for the initial work to set the scope of the policy, but I now assume that there were serious defects or gaps in those founding documents that have resulted in the gaps in policy and choices made in the bill, Mr. Speaker. However, a lot of good work has been done. Obviously, more work still needs to be done. So members will note that the committee recommends withdrawal of the bill for further work to be done to strengthen it and ensure that the issues raised in the committee's report are adequately and properly addressed. This, sir, is an important and significant policy initiative of successive governments and a very good one for our country and economy and people. Given where we are in our development trajectory, Mr. Speaker, we need this policy to work and work right. However, given the complex issues interfacing in this key policy initiative, sir, it is important that we get it as right as is possible from the outset. At the very least, sir, that all issues that have been raised have been adequately covered and catered for. Our tendency to fall back on regulations to cure defects or deficiencies in bills lends regulation-making powers to overreach. It is better, Mr. Speaker, that principal legislation is cured before passage and regulations are left for ensuring efficient administration, as they should be. Of course, Mr. Speaker, it is the government's prerogative whether to take up the committee's recommendation or to proceed on the bill, sir. However, I stand with the committee on its recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Opposition Leader and Member for Auki Langalanga. Member for West Harare.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to also add my voice on behalf of my people in contributing to this very, very important debate on the motion, Mr. Speaker, moved by the Honourable Minister for Commerce, Immigration, Labour and Industry. Thank you, Honourable Minister, for your motion on Special Economic Zones Bill 2024. Let me, as the Chairman of the Bills and Legislation Committee, Mr. Speaker, take my responsibility to thank my hardworking committee members for their tolerance and perseverance as we've been tasked to scrutinize the bill and bills that come before the committee. Mr. Speaker, I thank and commend my committee members for their steadfast efforts, Mr. Speaker. Let me also thank the Parliamentary Secretariat for continuous royal services to my committee, Mr. Speaker. We also like to thank him, the Permanent Secretary and Senior Management Team of the Ministry of Commerce, Immigration, Labour and Industry, Mr. Speaker, for katakam waiting this very important bill of the Ministry, of the Government and of our country, Mr. Speaker. I join the Leader of the Opposition to also signal out the Permanent Secretary, Mifala Bara in need, Hemi overseas, but Mifala had to connect lo Zoom for continue waiting this work. Me thank him for that availability and also that commitment to that process, Mr. Speaker. I wish to also thank the legal draftspersons of the Attorney General who were also before the committee and helping the ministry and my committee, Mr. Speaker, this process. So, big thanks to the Special Economic Zones Task Force, Mr. Speaker. Long time over the taken, and ministry have continued to work hard. Me committee Mokata, this for the task force comprised of our technical experts and experienced people, Mr. Speaker, for Okata work more than 10 years not this bill where imi debating this time, Mr. Speaker. Let me also comment and acknowledge the provincial premiers the permanent secretaries and also legal advisors who came before my committee, Mr. Speaker, and have also contributed valuably to the whole process required under Standing Order 71 of my committee, Mr. Speaker. And let me also thank all the invited participants who were inquired by the Bills and Legislation Committee on this bill, Mr. Speaker. Report hemi containing that inquiry, Mr. Speaker, in detail, and him capturing participation from participants before the committee, Mr. Speaker. So let me also take this opportunity for explaining and clarifying now workflow Bills and Legislation Committee. Thank you, Prime Minister. Closing remarks by you and responses to the speech from the throne, sir. You came how now government caucus, your cabinet ministers, waiting bills, and me para encourage. That is the process. That is what is required of us at those stages. Make him time bill, him flow. Mr. Speaker, Committee Blomi under Standing Order 71, me will have to fulfill that standing order, and time bill hemi come and hemi thoroughly scrutinize lo caucus and lo cabinet. Hem make him life hemi easy for the committees, parliamentary committees, particularly when there is a bill, my Bills and Legislation Committee, Mr. Speaker. So, me are encouraged by the focus and the commitment confirmed by the Prime Minister on the process of bills for Hemikam, Kasim Lohia Lo Chambers, Hemi Takem, that focus and commitment, Mr. Speaker. So, Law Bills and Legislation Committee, Standing Order 71, have now responsibility, and me as a chairman, we are required by Standing Order 71 for taking this responsibility to ensure a piece of legislation passed through this honorable chambers, Mr. Speaker, is a good law for the country. And over the beginning, Blimtola. Now, Standing Order 71, me give him come law Bills and Legislation Committee, Mr. Speaker. So, Bills and Legislation Committee, him must ensure that him table report him me thoroughly adhere to and comply to Standing Order 71. A very, very powerful standing order, Mr. Speaker, and Hemi also guide him, Bills and Legislation Committee, for Hemi report to this honorable House, Mr. Speaker, and also to members of Parliament in the requirement under the standing orders, Mr. Speaker. So, hem now waka where imtal to him and committee, Hemi Bills and Legislation Committee, Hemi complemented that process of government for time imtal come here as legislatures, imtal passing piece of legislation where Hemi bara good for country imtal. So the objective of the bill, Hemi very clear and Hemi noble. Committee Blomi hem no carry any problem with him. Bara good bill, imtala will wait for him, Hemi come and imtal look forward for achievement for him and also its outcome, Mr. Speaker, time imtal implement him. So the bill aims to establish a legal framework for the development, regulations, and promotion of special economic zones in Solomon Islands. The stated goals, Mr. Speaker, include enhancing economic growth, attracting foreign investment, creating employment opportunities, and fostering industrial diversification through private-public partnership. This one, Hemi covered law, part one of the bill, law clause 4, Mr. Speaker. This is a long-awaited desire and goal of this country. Imtola came to us. I got a piece of legislation here for Hemi come and Hemkai Imtola. But how for Hemi waka, Mr. Speaker? Hem now, big challenge for Imtola. And time Imtola come await him at framework for him. By Imtola also mindful that there are other requirements that the Hemi needed for the bills for Imtola. Hemi give him outcomes where Imtola wait for him and need him and expect him under the bill when it's become an act, Mr. Speaker. So my committee bills and legislation committee, Mr. Speaker, Hemi undertook an inquiry into the special economic zone, SEZ for short, Bill 2024, as required by the Standing Order 71, as I alluded to earlier, Mr. Speaker. During this full inquiry, as me thank you, participants, the stakeholders, Hemi clearly manifested that big work to him, to him. Even former minister, but him come joining me for me bara grateful that one and commenting minister how for him to him time him to take him come over the bills, very important bills. Minister come make him to have a story to him, and you too you look him how bills process him bills and legislation committee process him go wait him over the bills time he take him come. So inputs through the submissions and oral evidences by stakeholders, Mr. Speaker, Hemi covered inside this report where Hemi before him tola said. And I hope Hemi, by enlightening him for understand him, could follow more this bill and what is contained inside this bill, Mr. Speaker. Whilst acknowledging the broad support from the bill's objective, Mr. Speaker, it is clear concerns emerged that significant deficiencies exist in the current form of the bill that requires addressing preferably before this bill enacted, Mr. Speaker. That one now, also the finding by my committee, Mr. Speaker. So, as leader has alluded to or presented in his intervention, Mr. Speaker, the recommendations by me briefly 12 the executive summary, Mr. Speaker, because Hemi point him out now where this recommendation Hemi come out from, Mr. Speaker. And so key concerns identified during the inquiry and detailed in the report, Hemi include him now inside sections here, Mr. Speaker, governance and oversight. The proposed SEZ authority governance structure is overly centralized, Mr. Speaker. So stakeholders noted a disproportionate representation from central government ministries and lack of representation from provincial governments or independent experts, raising concerns about potential conflicts of interest, insufficient accountability, and lack of technical capacity at the board level. That is under the governance and oversight in the report, Mr. Speaker. Further, sir, the dual role of the authority as both a regulator and operator is seen as posing potential for conflicts of interest in the event the authority becomes an operator and thus a competitor to other operators. So this one, Hemi highlighted in the report, Hemi very important because time in look governance and oversight, this bill Hemi provide himself. Those are the findings of of the committee. So even the governance by the board. So if you look at part 8 under the Hemikavam Authority, divisions 1 and 2 of the bill, Mr. Speaker. One for a highlighted example now, the officials from the Prime Minister's office and the PMU, Mr. Speaker. Policy, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation unit. Let me highlight to my committee that political appointees, technical man inside. Come and go with the government. So that was an important point that was highlighted to us in terms of the governance, no time in boards, and also representation, the board authority, Mr. Speaker. So in the provincial participation and revenue impacts, this was section Hemikavam, Mr. Speaker, the bill lacks adequate mechanisms for involving potential provincial governments in SEZ, governance, planning, or benefit sharing. So, in fact, provincial governments have no role with SEZs beyond being consulted on potential locations, Mr. Speaker. Further, sir, significant concern were raised that exemptions from business license and property rates will severely erode provincial government revenue bases and further marginalize local authorities. So, okata province premier come to Tolomifal revenue no more okata warim tumasya because budget block there okata sabe look out themselves for meeting budget for people block at the province, people bring to the province, Mr. Speaker. And time okata looking that SEZ hemi good one for the province, waiting for noble intentions blow him. And policy implementation, Mr. Speaker, okata looking time 10 years yeah, okata no more now. Even the traditional revenue sources, Mr. Speaker, from property rates and business license, perhaps also affected under that bill, Mr. Speaker. That is a concern to them, Mr. Speaker. And the fact that Okata should be a strong partner with the government in the church where this was a bill, hemi current. Look out them what na hemi good for the country in terms of our in terms of the province's participation, Mr. Speaker. Under the section customary rights, Mr. Speaker, a critical risk to the legitimacy and success of SEZ development is the absence of explicit provisions safeguarding customary land tenure and ensuring free, prior and informed consent, Mr. Speaker. Low land, this will SEZ by Hemilolania. Resisted land, yes, but okata resisted land ya imtel solmon elania customary land him first time. Land owner lo dia, tribe lo dia. Government and province taken, Commission of Land taken, but that one yeah, him must always step inside them into try for negotiating the balances in developing the opportunities we have for hemi ildim okata services into the native lo country, Mr. Speaker. So landowners has that conscience waiting okata, Mr. Speakers, despite okata laws playing hemikarem right above okata customary rights okata indigenous right, Mr. Speaker. That one hemi also hemi covered, Mr. Speaker, law parts 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the bill. Said unresolved land tenure issues and potential conflicts with the Land and Titles Act will emphasized, particularly concerning the protection of original customary landowners when resisted land is transacted within the SEZ. That one, Imtola go ahead for experience him, and Imtola continue for church, and committee blomi hemi hope that this fellow bill hemi bara look or something so that Imtola move with him, Mr. Speaker. But at the moment, as I already alluded to, hemi levet giving space for Imtola need for focus him and concentrate, addressing the way forward, a solid foundation law implementation of this policy as Bill Hemi stand for, Mr. Speaker. So, under the due diligence and investment integrity, the bill does not impose sufficient obligations for verifying the integrity of beneficial owners, promoters, company shareholders, and directors, developers, and of operators to ensure due diligence is undertaken to mitigate the risk of illicit trade, money laundering, corruption, and exploitation. Mr. Speaker, okay, before my committee, Hemi highlighted now, if Okataman, we Okatakarim Stakaselini, take advantage of this opportunity, this bill, Mr. Speaker, benefits Lohem, 10 years Okatakam clean him, Okataselin Blogata Okataran away. Even Central Bank Hemi Levitt highlighting that one too, Mr. Speaker. If that is the situation where there is space for him, as already alluded to by the leader of the opposition, Mr. Speaker, what na imtal by doing? How na by imtal taklom that one, Mr. Speaker? So that is an important one where imtal need for. Also, look like Mr. Speaker. Okata man we okata kami because imtal die for okata investor for the come selling. No matter okata teti hemorrhage no more. Okata good man, him all right no more. Their records need to be checked, Mr. Speaker. Where now by Imtola find him that one inside Lobelia? How, Mr. Speaker? So that is an important point raised before and waiting committee below me, Mr. Speaker. So, law fiscal incentives and economic viability concerns were raised with my committee about the sustainability and equity of the proposed fixed 10-year tax holiday and the investment threshold. So, Imtal give him 10 years, yeah, him good. Hemi come stop no more, hem make him sell and blow him over 10 years, yeah, time for hemi pay him or tax limtal, mania him run away now. Leave him at a monster facilities behind him go. Him make money now. Him come interest no more, lotus fella 10 years yeah. And after that 10 years, how now him tell a cater for the kind awesome. Kind attitude awesome, Mr. Speaker. Okata businessman, yeah. Okata smart, sir. And so in the bill, there needs to be safeguards for him to look at Mr. Speaker. Hemi very, very important. So, stakeholders caution that excessive concessions may undermine government revenues and create unfair advantage over existing companies. So, further, there was no modeling by both the Inland Revenue Division and Customs Excise Division to inform the policy. This one, Hemibara, highlighted by the leader. So, mi fala committee tintin that time okata kamway timtis fala bill by okata also dream okata modeling. Chekem lo side lo custom by hemi look how. Side lo Inland Revenue, Mr. Speaker, in the ministry. Put him come levet model makimi look him, and then put him levet costing lock him. Mr. Speaker, even with the committee have asked about if Imtal put him one for economic special economic zone there, by him costing Imtal how much? By him costing government what there? 100 million, 200 million? Committee him interest him. Make him time Imtal pass him bill, Imtal bank on one fella, by Imtal achieve him, one fella. Mr. Speaker, that was a question where Committee Blomi Hemi spent him a little bit time in terms of tintin round him and reflection on it, Mr. Speaker. There are risks to existing revenue streams that will be affected by, but government did not consider this because of the lack of modeling by these two agencies. And this is regrettable, serious and significant oversight. Leader Hemi already highlighted, committee feel that something if Hemi come, Bahembara give him a good case. Leader alluded to a visit to neighboring countries, where go ahead in terms of special economic zones. Visit him, come with him. What now? Modus how what now? Challenges and make him no. Come across him something, Mr. Speaker. That is the urge where committee Hemikarem and him ask him a question. If I make him visit, if I come up with him similar setup where him exists, make him time him talk into our special economic zone, him tell certain, him tell no come across him the hurdles and those challenges, Mr. Speaker. So that Hemi also highlighted and put to my committee. But in terms of those investors, where come and if big selling, waiting into like him. That is what we are establishing for, and why I'm like for attracting incentives 10 years, Mr. Speaker. But then the other side of it, how now by Hemi economy by Hemi affected by this one. Him go up, this one him go down. After 10 years by him awesome, something awesome now, Mifala ask him in terms of modeling, Mr. Speaker. Maybe ministry hemi current, Mr. Speaker, but no sharing come. Mifala ask him, but no sharing to really put a strong case to my committee. Time Mifal Karem opportunity going through this one bill, Mr. Speaker. So the section that deals with the fiscal incentives target both profitability and input costs, Mr. Speaker. Allowing a fixed 10 years tax-free holiday is a profit incentives. That one imtola sabe and imtola someone standpoint, Mr. Speaker, imtola like a mogata come. We need investors. We have been struggling to attract investors, but okay, good one. Before, Mr. Speaker, I say, night flyers no more end up investing in and that's why I got a Saifel current problem all the way. Instead of officers blame law ministry, I deal with him the profitability and the opportunities, I address him no more, monitor him, money him to do him good or no more. Hemi Coco sideline or other activities him come. Those are our experiences, Mr. Speaker, as well as encounters. So this is an important transfer for Imtola because we are looking at what by him happened, by him work for Imtola, Mr. Speaker. Exemptions of duty and GST for inputs incentives established in lower cost of production, Mr. Speaker. So there is no modeling to assess the risk that companies which are profitable within the 10 years period and therefore should be paying tax will depart at the end of that period when the incentives expire. That one hemi mifala toto waitem the host ministry committee hemi no comfortable no more. Because if I come no more, clean him selling block at if I 30 selling, then I go waiting within 10 years, by him tell how that space, Mr. Speaker. And so that is why we were asking about those modelings, so that Hemi give him tell and guide him tell in terms of what by him stuff inside the regulations, more so in the Principal Act, Mr. Speaker. So, in terms of infrastructure and implementation readiness, Mr. Speaker, existing infrastructure deficits, particularly in rural and provincial areas, may hinder successful SEZ implementation. Let me quote for him to reflect on that one, Mr. Speaker. Stakeholders urge that the SEZ designations should be contingency upon detailed feasibility assessment and infrastructure planning. Concerns exist regarding the regulatory management of ports and sovereigns wharves within SEZ, and experience demonstrates the current weak governance regime on this matter, Mr. Speaker, in the current country. So, infrastructure, yeah, just to talk about the questions no more, what the things for him continue for paving way for the opportunities for unveiling Mr. Speaker, no more. Provinces hem was. Time thinking serious about our provinces in terms of diversification, look at the investments, Mr. Speaker, infrastructure, bahembarava, impediment law at the provincial centers. And so big resources by put him in law budget. Like for diversify, put him call at province to Mr. Speaker, but this is going to be challenging, but me hope government hemi karim what the plans for him, Mr. Speaker. So, look at the ports within the SEZ. If Imtalco put him outside Lahoniara, Mr. Speaker, one fella SEZ, and he have now. By one fellow wolf, him stablo there. By him can come under Ports Authority or no more, or by start him on or celeb. But, Mr. Speaker, mindful of the fact that the developer, man, millions and millions, but put him into the SEZ. And so everything we must do for help him, recupum investment, Mr. Speaker, by hemi challenging him to answer. And so the point here is internal compromising legislative frameworks blame tola, regulations blame tola, in desperations for achieving outcome of investment policies blame tola, Mr. Speaker. But let's plan for something, Mr. Speaker. In terms of the environmental and social safeguards, Mr. Speaker, there is an urgent need to review the Environment Act to modernize environmental standards with current international best practices and enact a robust compliance and enforcement capacity, Mr. Speaker. This one, Law Ministry, Okata come and sharing with me for like for participate, me for like for compliment, but Okatins from me for where hemi hole me for bike, one for now legislation from me para out of date now. And Mr. Speaker, you sabe, imtala lotis for 21st century, Okata things for imtala levita pull up socks lahema. So Ministry hemi current consent, my committee also received that consent and me understand him and lohia imtal work and that is also in the recommendation, Mr. Speaker. Stakeholders, Mr. Speaker, urge that the SEZ designations should be consistent upon detailed feasibility assessments and infrastructure planning. One fella SEZ loimtola, how much infrastructure by him colo there? How road? How many kilometers? Yeah. Wharf. Okay, Tinsia. Imtala Karen. Imtal already planning. Imtal put him low model, Mr. Speaker. Committee hemi fail for receiving. Okay, the information also, Mr. Speaker, the process of the inquiry. So there are no clear mechanisms for environment oversight and potential conflicts with existing environmental legislation, and these were noted, Mr. Speaker, along with the weakness of enforcement and unclear restoration and remediation standard. So, for Imtal Karim Okata Wakaman, Lokata Ministry, Imtal Karim enough Wakaman, technical, by taking to that level where by establishing the high standard SEZ Lohem, Mr. Speaker, or nominate, Mr. Speaker. And the ministries, they have adequate resources for okata complementing SEZ time tala chamboitim Mr. Speaker law inquiry that will be big challenge Mr. Speaker. Law Labour and Immigration Oversight, Mr. Speaker, then Hemi already highlighted by big work okata twin. There was no model where okata kibim come to law mifala. That by so much more and also okata luluk no more okata current proposed establishment law there Mr. Speaker. Okata technical man imta training okata ready okata for taking up authority imta Mr. Speaker. No more yet. So okata kapsia hemi give him that negative impact, Mr. Speaker, law okata proposed and desired employment where intercurrent law okata establishments, Mr. Speaker. So law ministry, that's what Mifala find him come, Mr. Speaker. So even law there having the process of internal payments by him what 24 hours internal give him over the payments here, work and residence permit, and then by him go over the investor as leader of the opposition him highlighting by restricting him how by internal open up there should be flexibility. Law of employment here. Imtala also fearing, Mr. Speaker, in terms of the information Hemikam Law Committee, that by him taking space and opportunity of employment from local Solomon Islanders. Yes, Mr. Speaker, Hemi true, but Imtala also need him technical people where by come and the company. The company definitely they will push for the number they require, they need for establishing, Mr. Speaker, their investment inside law, as is said, Mr. Speaker. Regulatory clarity and legislative alignment, Mr. Speaker. Committee Hemi come up with numerous provisions in the bill are ambiguous or duplicated, Mr. Speaker. Stakeholders stress the importance of aligning the bill with existing legislation, including the Provincial Government Act, SOE Act, Lands and Titles Act, Mr. Speaker, Immigration Act, so as well as the Customs Act and Foreign Investment Act to name few of the legislations that needs alignment. There is no proposed amendment lokataya under this bill, Mr. Speaker, but the committee have looked at there is a need. There is a need, Mr. Speaker. And parts 3, 4, and 5 of the bill have covered now this one, Mr. Speaker. Transparency and accountability, the authority and SEZ fund are subject to the Auditor General's jurisdiction. The duty on the authority is to maintain proper accounting records, must be accompanied with criminal penalties for lack of proper record keeping to increase accountability. So, no really clear how now Imtal put him in accountability requirements, Mr. Speaker, for ensure that Imtal achieving envisaged policy implementation and outcome under the local ministry, Mr. Speaker. That is an area where committee have finding difficulty with him law bill. Dispute resolution, Mr. Speaker, the dispute resolution mechanism in the bill deemed vague and potentially ineffective without defined timelines or appellate pathways, Mr. Speaker. Concerns were also raised regarding the review panel's composition and process, Mr. Speaker. Efficient dispute resolution is critical to comments, and the bill should ensure it is provided for. So, something I'm not much clear Hem no much clear lo te sort bill as far as my committee inquiry hemi find him, Mr. Speaker, and okata recommendations hemi take care lo hem, Mr. Speaker. Lo penalties, Mr. Speaker, the penalties for certain offences were deemed insufficient to deter illicit activities, Mr. Speaker. Penalty emistam, but me fellow committee look him hemi no sufficient, and hemi need to be very clear, make him hemi facilitate him the outcome intended by the bill, Mr. Speaker. So that's the summary, Mr. Speaker, and the executive summary, pages 5, 6, and 7, highlights the weaknesses of the bill, which are well covered in the Bills and Legislation Committee report. It is 97 pages report, Mr. Speaker. Big bill, too thick one, and so we don't expect him report law Bills and Legislation Committee by him also. So there are 97 pages on that report, and Hemi Kavam put all the parts, divisions, clauses of this bill, Mr. Speaker. And recommendations, pages 7 to 16, Mr. Speaker. The committee supports the government policy intentions contained in the objective of the bill, Mr. Speaker. Hemi objective lahem, you mean everyone like him? You mean everyone like him? Okatawaka where you mean entrusted with him now, me totok lahem as a chairman of the Bills and Legislation Committee, Mr. Speaker. So the committee sees the importance of ensuring that the provisions contained in the bill are adequate to achieve a robust governance framework for the SEZ, Mr. Speaker. So, in conclusion, therefore, however, given the number of recommendations for clearer policy choices and their consequential amendments, the committee recommends that the government consider withdrawing the bill and introducing it after it has thoughtfully considered all the foregone recommendations, Mr. Speaker. There are 72 of them, and we hope Hemi Mekema Bill Blimtola Hemi clear by the report from the Bills and Legislation Committee. Mr. Speaker, with your free remarks here, sir, me thank you and me take him seat.
Thank you, Chairman, Bills and Legislation Committee, member for West Harare. Thank you, Minister for Environment, member for Kau Bukoto.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity for sharing to Ting Blobi in regards to the bill and in support of the bill. Mr. Speaker, I rise today with a strong, determined voice in support of the Special Economic Zone Bill 2024. Mr. Speaker, this bill is not merely a legislative proposal. It is a declaration of national intent. It is a forward-facing plan of how our country can rise to meet the twin challenges of economic hardship and environmental sustainability or vulnerability without trading one for the other. Mr. Speaker, we in Solomon Islands have long sought an economic model that reaches beyond Honera, beyond extractive industries, and beyond short-term fixes. The Special Economic Zone Bill gives us that pathway, Mr. Speaker. It lays the foundation for regionally anchored zones that are designed not only to encourage trade and industry, but to build resilient, inclusive, and future-ready communities. Mr. Speaker, this bill comes at a time when our country needs it most. But it is also comes with a responsibility. As a Minister for Environment, Climate Change, I speak with agency and conviction. If the zones are to succeed, they must not ignore the climate realities our people face every day. This legislation must be the beginning of a smarter way to grow, one that reduces our exposure to climate risk, strengthens our resilience, and safeguards our ecosystem. Mr. Speaker, let me be clear. Economic development must no longer be built on environmental sacrifice. Our people cannot afford it. Rising seas are swallowing our coastal gardens. Droughts are affecting our water sources. And storms are hitting harder than ever before. If our economic zones are not designed for resilience from day one, they will become liabilities, not assets. Mr. Speaker, this is why I fully support the provisions of the bill that now mandate the environmental impact assessment, integrate waste and pollution controls, and embed climate resilience into zone planning. These are not optional extras. They are core to long-term success. Mr. Speaker, but we can and should go further. Our SEZs must be living examples of climate-smart development. They should prioritize, first, clean energy from the start. Let us make it a standard, not an exception, that SEZs are powered by solar, wind, or other renewable sources. This is not only possible, but also cost-effective in the long run. Investors are now actively looking for clean energy zones. Let us offer them one, Mr. Speaker. Second, nature-based infrastructure. Instead of hardened seawalls and imported concrete, let us use mangrove restoration, native tree buffers, and coastal zoning to protect these areas. We have nature on our side, Mr. Speaker. Let us not pave over our natural defenses. Let us strengthen them. Third, Mr. Speaker, sustainable water systems. Zones must plan for water harvesting, wastewater recycling, and efficient irrigation systems, especially if they are in the rural areas. These measures are not just good for the environment, Mr. Speaker, they are necessary for uninterrupted operations. Fourth, Mr. Speaker, green construction standards. Every new factory, warehouses, or facility should meet climate-resilient building codes. We cannot afford to see investment washed away by floods or typhoons, Mr. Speaker. Let our zones stand as a proof that sustainability and durability can go hand in hand. Fifth, Mr. Speaker, community-driven design. No SEZ should rise without the voice of its landowners, youth and women at the table, Mr. Speaker. Resilience is not just about structures. It is about relationships. People must be empowered, informed, and included. Mr. Speaker, I also want to emphasize that this bill, through its amended provisions, rightly places environmental oversight within the core of SEZ governance. The involvement of my ministry, Mr. Speaker, will ensure that compliance is not an afterthought, but a precondition. We will ensure every development proposal is screened for climate risk. We will monitor performance. We will not hesitate to intervene where environmental safeguards are breached, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, other countries have tried and failed because they moved too quickly, welcoming investment without scrutiny. There are countries who faced consequences from SEZ that polluted rivers and displaced communities. But others, Mr. Speaker, like Rwanda and Singapore, have shown that when you put climate policy and economic planning in the same room, you get zones that last. We must be counted. Solomon Islands must become counted among the latter. Mr. Speaker, the bill also protects our sacred relationship with land. It ensures that no development proceeds without the full free and informed consent of customary landowners. This is non-negotiable principle, and one that my ministry stands ready to uphold, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker said, we often say that Solomon Island is on the front line of climate change, but I believe we must also be on the front line of solutions. The Special Economic Zones Bill is one such solution, Mr. Speaker. If we commit to doing it right, it offers a rare chance to prove to our people and the world that economic growth and environmental integrity are not enemies, they are partners. Mr. Speaker said, I call on all honorable members, colleague members within this chamber today to support this bill, not just because it is ambitious, but because it is responsible. Let us show to our people that Parliament can pass laws that think ahead. Let us build zones that are models of excellence, Mr. Speaker, not enclaves of extraction. Let us make this bill the beginning of a new development legacy, Mr. Speaker, one our grandchildren will be proud of. Mr. Speaker said, I wholeheartedly support the Special Economic Zone Bill 2024, and I urge this House to pass it, not just with your vote, but with your voice, your oversight, and your resolve to ensure it delivers what it promises: inclusive growth, lasting jobs, and climate resilience. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much, and I take my seat.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Minister for Environment and Member for Gao Bokoto. May I have the Minister for Finance? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Me too like for joining my colleague on this side, Minister for Environment, to also support this bill, sir. First of all, before me do so, me like for thanking Minister of Commerce, Industry, Labour and Immigration for moving this bill on the floor of Parliament, on a second reading of Parliament. Me sabi that I is coming along our ministry, but me believe that his ample capacity, whereby I'm sabi leading me through along this bill, along the floor, along Parliament. Sir, me also like to thank him, hard-working officials of our Ministry of Commerce and the Special Economic Zone Committee, and of course, our drafting legal drafters in the AG chambers for putting together this bill. I think they have gone through a lot of work, consultations domestically and also abroad in ensuring that this bill may come into fruition. Of course, you must have that this bill has come a long way as well. There may be time for us to consider it in this floor and pass it on. Sir, we also like to thank him, the chairman, Longo committee, and the members of the Bills and Legislation Committee for the comprehensive report that was producing on the bill. I would also like to thank him, attendees to the hearings conducted by the Bills Committee. I think they have invited a wide array of stakeholders to come into the hearing and collected good views and inputs into the bill. Their report, sir. Mr. Speaker, and that is good. But there is also a question, Mr. Speaker, that whether Aoke consistently doing their reporting based on their responsibility and the standing orders and the mandate of the committee There is also a view, as Milukim Longo reported, that they may be encroaching into the areas of executive as well and legal drafting as well. But maybe that is good too, sir, so that even a lot of inputs and views from the stakeholders and be reflected along there, along that report. And so may like for thanking me. Very, very good report. I think must using artificial intelligence too for doing a very good report. Yeah, Mr. Speaker. That is good for us. You should be able to use that, all of us. Sir, as this bill has been in the making for a very long time. I think, I guess, maybe less than or more than 10 years ago that it's been, compiled, consulted, drafted until now. The Solomon Islands has been working very hard, Mr. Speaker, to attract genuine foreign investments, especially in the areas of manufacturing, processing of our raw materials, maybe along of high-tech, and of course, low tourism. We have not been there yet. Give me strangled come for a very long time, Mr. Speaker, sir. Some of these investments may have been established in a country, you may look in, good tourism development that may be slowly happening, and some manufacturing and processing. However, not as many investment and the level of investment that you may wish for maintaining a sustainable level of growth and job creation that you may like for looking lo country. No more yet. Not at the level that you may like for looking export me tilted towards our favor so that the balance of trade hemi surplus long as no more. We have not been able to do that, Mr. Speaker, sir. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, we believe that Solomon Islands need a big bang lelebet, sir. A game-changing, transformative legislative reform to be able to attract sufficient investment level to be able to drive our country forward, sir. You must also understand, sir, that our neighboring country in the region are ahead of us in terms of ease of doing business ranking, as I'm always issued by World Bank. In fact, they're doing better, in some cases, better than us in attracting genuine foreign investments from country Bromoketa. Sir, having a comparative advantage in an investment area is not good enough for us. Not sufficient, yes, sir. Solomon Islands must develop a competitive edge and superiority. This one we must aim for doing, and we must do in good time, because the world is not waiting for us, sir. There is need for us to provide genuine investors a red carpet treatment, maybe, Mr. Speaker, sir, where ease of entry and certainty in doing business can be established. Simple and easy tax regime to comply with, tax concessions can be stopped. Perhaps diplomatic-like permit, work permit and visa arrangement for investors, technical personnel and CEOs of this investment. Low cost of business operation, including lower cost of electricity that you should establish it. Of course, you must have and we have been putting efforts in ensuring macroeconomic stability and fiscal stability, which are so important for us to market this country abroad. Political stability and very important, Mr. Speaker, sir. These are things that we must ready so that you may welcome the investors. Of course, security is important as well. These are works
that the government currently doing under its various programs along various ministries, Mr. Speaker. And of course, providing quality and well-maintained infrastructure is an important factor in attracting foreign investment into our country. Mr. Speaker, despite many criticisms that the bill may be need to be delayed, that may be raised along a report, the Bills Committee, what we think, Mr. Speaker, we just simply need to pass this bill and move forward with strengthening it and aligning it well with other related acts and policies intention through later amendments, sir. Sir, this bill, in my assessment, long governance and oversight structure blend, Mr. Speaker, heavy well representing key positions in the government, semi-government, private sector, and is open to gender balance as well, Mr. Speaker. I would like to include Yumi politicians in long here or long provinces, executives of parties, convicts, bankrupt persons, or criminals. Even good something here, Mr. Speaker. The fact that we put him Attorney General as a member, the Governor of Central Bank, that is an important acquisition for this board of authority for environment here. And I'm reflecting, Mr. Speaker, sir, how serious we in ensuring and doing all the proper due diligence for make sure that the authority and adopting best practice, best corporate practice, long due diligence process, long assessing investors were like to apply to become a developer, operator, or conducting business inside the special economic zone. Inside Cambodia, Mr. Speaker, sir, if we sit down at the table now, the Financial Intelligence Unit belonging to Mr. Speaker, sir, and they should be able to properly guide the authority so that these concerns and worry about illicit trade, about money laundering, that's how you solve it, Mr. Speaker, sir. Me urge him to our position here must be there, or their representative must be there for him ensuring this. In addition, sir, the Act allowing this authority for creating advisory position, some committees of the board whom shall be representing what the technical peoples belong me, and even provincial representatives belong me. So we just do not have this ex officio, whom are already technical, Mr. Speaker, sir. But these technical people, technical committee that can be set up under this board, Mr. Speaker, are able people who can be able to properly guide this authority so that order making decisions that aim best for the special economic zone concept and best for this country, Mr. Speaker, sir. The side of governance and oversight as well, there is concern, Mr. Speaker, along a dual role of the authority. I'm not dual role here, Mr. Speaker. In fact, a multiple role. I'm not to follow role, no, a multiple role. And the authority can be a developer, can be an operator, can conduct a business as well. This is a multiple role that hemigodia, so that as much as we can, we retain the business, we retain the earnings in country belonging me. But the question on governance now am raised. Now this can be solved in so many ways and can be solved and addressed as it is in the Act. The authority shall be creating subsidiary. There is provision along there that I may say that the authority through the board can create partnership, joint ventures, even with provincial government or their business arms, shall we partner with him or the authority. So there is separation of responsibility that through regulation that Babayam established later on, Mr. Speaker, Bayam Save drawn a clear line as to where is the role of the authority as the regulator and where now role belong authority as the investor in this special economic zone. Or subsidiaries belong him, sabi do any allowed for under the Act. So, Mr. Speaker, there's nothing long on here for me looking for me worry long here. It is good that the authority must have multiple roles. Me like for authority must invest too. If you mean him selling, it must invest. So that you may retain him now or get earnings. No foreign no more go overseas. As much as we can, it must be involved. And that is a good thing. We can sort out this governance concern along multiple roles that are doing and clarifying along regulations. How now as authority, conducting a role, mandate belong him, and how as subsidiary by conducting business belong him as well. So there we are, one way that provinces shall participate too, in terms of business arms, of course, shall we partner in that area. The settler participation belong province and also revenue impact that we looking along a report, Mr. Speaker. The special economic zone model I may inclusively engage with the provincial government for its development. That is, if there is any a zone that will be designated as special economic zone of that particular province, then very lengthy and thorough consultation hearings will be conducted before you be doing that one. So through that process, let me open for provinces for hearing out now what now concerns Blongoketa, what now interests Blongoketa, and whether they would like to be partner in that special economic zone as developer, operator, ever any open from there. It doesn't need to be in here, maybe I'm silent lawyer, but other legislation may believe, Mr. Speaker, him allowing that kind of partnership in business for us to do. We believe that provincial government by Olketa recognizing and realizing employment benefit in terms of revenue increase long head rates long Olketa. MEPAYE collected by the national government. But as we are now, they can collect head rates long Olketa. In addition, Mr. Speaker, you know this special economic zone will be will attract other business activities from locals in the surroundings of the special economic zone, for sure. By looking, it's a pull factor where people will be there too, employment will be there. So certainly businesses will find themselves profitable to establish surrounding that area too. So it's a chance or a way of creating, starting a small township and city, Mr. Speaker. So in this way, provinces will have a multiplier effect in terms of, encouraging other businesses set up along there. That is a good thing for small business in the provincial level. On the question of, sir, the question of special economic zone eroding provincial government revenue, No more, Mr. Speaker. Without special economic zone, there is no revenue that come from special economic zone. When special economic zone come, by bring him come, no come for eroding. If there is no special economic zone, there is no revenue as such too, that by special economic zone bring come. So it is not about eroding provincial government revenue. Provincial government revenue might have not been there too without any special economic zone, also, Mr. Speaker, sir. But as we said, Mr. Speaker, sir, the multiplier effect along this one by attracting business in the surroundings and also head rates of same, I think it's good for provincial government. In fact, provincial government must be able to position themselves as an attractive destination to investment as well, or special economic zone for that matter. Therefore, all these small hurdles and fees and whatever that we put in, it's about time you may look at the other way around. How can we make our province attractive for investors to come? I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. So, loside longo land, as Amy clearly stated, longo the bill itself, Amy look first longo registered land no more under Commissioner of Lands, Mr. Speaker, under the Land and Titles Act. Those are the land that are easily available for Amy quickly go into, without any disputes also. So I think this concern on nungutu kam grabim land longomi also no more. But as a priority and low-hanging fruit, Mr. Speaker, this fella bill and special economic zone and emi tanggentim no more the land where owned by a commissioner or the province for that matter, because some other provinces belong to me or the Garem land. Unless, Mr. Speaker, a customary land perfectly suitable for purpose of special economic zone, then prior acquisition process under the Lands and Titles Act, abide by. In which case, Mr. Speaker, the landowners will be able to strongly advocate for their rights and interest. Suppose maybe tourism, Mr. Speaker. Suppose beautiful places, Longo West or Longela, Russell or Malaita, or where that really suitable for tourism and like for of a special economic zone, but customary owned, then proper processes of land acquisition through the Lands and Titles Act abided by. In that connection, Mr. Speaker, landowners can express their interest. Interest to be partner is there, and our Companies Act provided for that one. So this is available for them during that process. As for the acquisition or question of original landowner on a registered land where Commissioner Garema is time here, Mr. Speaker, as you may always original landowners also you know Garema any rights now. No, we can have a look at that in other contexts based on other legislation or through regulation belonging to this special economic zone. We can also spell that out clearly as well. But Mr. Speaker, sir, land dispute and one fala issue that chasing investors out of this fala country. And especially if we talk about customary land, no more now. It's a no-go zone for them. You go invest along customary land also, no more now, because land issue is a problem to them, Mr. Speaker. So Baba, you may not mix him too much too. If you may like for attractive investors, you may not mix him too much with him or the customary lands play you may first time too. Important, but for a start, you may start with him what a land that he may held under the Commissioner of Lands, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, me touching finish a little bit some due diligence process authority and perhaps investment integrity. Risks of illicit trade, money laundering, and corruption, I do believe, can be addressed by relevant laws and under the offences and penalties inside of Part 11 of this Holland Bill. Me think, Mr. Speaker, I mean adequate for any safeguarding operation of special economic zone, sir. Importantly, along this area, Mr. Speaker, is for us for you strengthen enforcement of our laws and our regulations. I think that one now any weakness, enforcement. There is existing laws that can be used for this purpose, but we basically need to strengthen it and enforce it and resource it more well, Mr. Speaker. That is very, very important. And let me point him out, finish, Mr. Speaker, the due diligence process, receiving investors coming in. That is the reason why you are ex officio inside the board, so that really there for looking straight now and for considering the board through the due diligence process, which by must set aside 8 years, Mr. Speaker. You may not remit this current bill, but through regulation or through corporate-based practices belong to this authority by established. We cannot just, something that by Munda, Mr. Speaker, but will be produced and will be adhered to. Sir, fiscal incentives and economic viability belong to special economic zone here. Serving, Mr. Speaker, by creating employment and directly increase government revenue in terms of PAYE, sir. By help for catalyzing economic and business activities in areas surrounding the special economic zone, sir. This voluntarious tax concession, in my view, Mr. Speaker, is longer than enough period that provides certainty on both parties, Mr. Speaker. To the investors, it is longer period enough for them to be established so that after 10-year period, they can operate without that incentive. I'm not undermining government revenue here, sir, in my view. And cannot create him an unfair advantage over the existing business that operate outside of special economic zone. Mr. Speaker, long report me looking at the issue and the need for revenue modeling, MC. Sir, you must pass time this Falan bill. There is a lot of data that you may not have here. And I'm too early in my view and will be unrealistic if you may like for doing any modeling at this period. What is important as a first step for us is to make sure that this bill is passed. The way that I'm reading my report here, Mr. Speaker, I'm also from A to Z, I'm long billion now. I'm unrealistic here, Mr. Speaker. We have to start somewhere first and then build on it. Cannot A to Z, bang, this billion. So you will find, Mr. Speaker, that time applicant for a developer or an operator, apply come authority here. But I'm submitting them business plans. Plans belong what na like for dream. How na babayam running also. It is based on these plans and data that babayam give him come. that the authority will be able to do any modeling. This time, you mean no more yet, you mean no any data at all or any interest. There is some interest. Hey, if all are passing through time special economic zone so that we come and create them or come and invest. That's all what I say. But ought to make him any plans come so that we have the data and information so that we are able to make any modeling. Babaim any dream no more this time or unrealistic. And that Babaim no present him any realistic assumption as to how now by revenue impact. It is based on that, Mr. Speaker, that your application am accepted or am not accepted. By me assessing, then Bamba me modeling. What now impact lo economy? What now revenue return long government? How now Bamba me boosting employment? These are the information and inputs that are authority by means from Garem so that me make a well, fair and informed decision and make a modeling. Not just for the authority, but for the country at large as well, Mr. Speaker. So, the Speaker, I think you maybe like him from A to Z, and me come bang along this Bilia. That's not the way that I do him. You me step by step and move forward as you me progressing this special economic zone concept, Mr. Speaker. On infrastructure and implementation readiness, Mr. Speaker, have now important for passing for stamps so that you may ready also. Development of infrastructures are important for a special economic zone or for us at this stage too. But any a challenger, Mr. Speaker, as you may recognize in Longo town, Longo provinces, Longo. This is why we must first look at areas where basic infrastructures are already developed. This is in creating this or designating the area, an area for special economic zone. Because of challenges of constraint, the developing good or infrastructure, may believe that it is important for us to look at where now the basic infrastructure and start first time. I'm not by you start lohe. Even don't go start normal choice. Yeah? Because suppose go chasta lo choice, by you need him road, by you need him power, by you need him water, by you need him wolf, you name it, because choice and borrow no develop good here. But for us to make a first success start for this special economic zone, Mr. Speaker, sir, it may pick him right now that existing infrastructure and start. So clearly, it must be somewhere close to Honiara now. Or somewhere close to Noro. Somewhere land Lodia finish. There is ports, international port facilities Lodia. There is international airport facilities Lodia. There is road, power Lodia, water Lodia, like in Honiara. Other provinces, capital Blangimi, yes, some of those infrastructures are there, but maybe not international port facility. That is so important for this, because special economic zone, sir, meant for export. This one is meant for exporting. And an international accredited wharf is important for must below there. So these things are important for us to develop, Mr. Speaker, sir, just me counting as a priority. As Mitalem, therefore important for us to locate close to where these infrastructure are, and perhaps around Honiara or here Wale, important. Or, Mr. Speaker, sir, if a developer himself raising private financing, and that area is perfectly suitable for that purpose of special economic zone that this developer or investor like him, we must support him. the minimal support that government can give, we can provide. But these things are open to private financing as well, whether equity financing or any loan him. When the developer are looking about to make him a good return on it, they will invest on it, Mr. Speaker. A concern was also raised in suffering swap. I think this one maybe affect him too much, special economic zone here. What must use him, that should be one of the conditions that must be given Langalanga. Use him or the proper international recognized wharf belonging, not suffering swap all about also. Suffering swap, as Mitalem earlier, Mr. Speaker, under review, and we'll probably close special suffering warfare long here. That's a totally different matter outside of this bill, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on environment and social safeguard, my colleague Minister for Environment, I think Amy clearly covering that area of concern. The Environmental Act, I believe, will be able to accommodate any environment concerns that maybe arise under this special economic zone. In particular, as you look at maybe clear normal or Schedule 1, where designation of a special economic zone, environmental consideration must be there. Mr. Speaker. So there is enough legal provisions that are there so that you may accommodate them. There is also opportunity, Mr. Speaker, that these can be further detailed along regulations in consistency with the Environmental Act, Mr. Speaker. So time environmental impact assessment, you sabi that author doing consultation sir, that not just that for a designated area that by come long this for consultation under Environment Act. No more. Ukatan neighboring to so maybe landowners long side surrounding long special economic zone under Environment Act what must come and expressing their concerns as to how they could potentially be impacted. And these hearings are important so that you may accommodate him or the concerns belonging Langalanga. Mr. Speaker, there may be need to make it clear how the bill will operate well with other legislation that Amy outlined along a report belong the Bills Committee, for example, the Immigration Act, Labour Act, Provincial Government Act, the Public Finance Management Act, and maybe the special, the SOE Act. Of particular point, Mr. Speaker, this idea of making it easier for investor to access at one spot or the requirements that author must tick in the box before the approval. This is a concept of one-stop shop, long investment. Similar kind is open to be considered under the Act, under the bill, Mr. Speaker. Experience long of PNG me little bit that benefit of go visiting Mosby. Our officials are well versed with what now, what go looking long of PNG, and that is suitable for us to adopt in our context. Mr. Speaker, sir, the regulations that will be prescribed by the responsible minister should be able to make, these alignment with these other acts that should interface properly with the special economic zone bill. For now, Mr. Speaker, it is important for the bill to be passed so that the preparatory work can start now. For example, preparatory work leading to designating an area now. Preparatory work longer start for, then look at what now infrastructure needs if that area that Babaim designated. Certain reforms can also follow as well, Mr. Speaker. Some of these special economic zone, we always talk about the costly electricity that imigarem long our country. Some of these special economic zone could be a green special economic zone, whereby some will produce in their own power through solar. Mr. Speaker. These are the areas, Mr. Speaker. If a bill may pass, and give him you may time for him start preparing. You may also need for start preparing and start drafting regulations too, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, it may important for you may passing this bill, Mr. Speaker. Business regulations, Mr. Speaker, just for point him out no more, a set of rules, guidelines, and policies that Babaim built inside along this Act. These regulations, Babai Okata design for forming a framework for Okata investors and business must follow, must operate so that operate legally and maintain all the ethical standards and practices. Mr. Speaker, sir, this will important for us to move forward with this special economic zone bill, because world am no waiting you may be delayed finish the longer you mean delay world by move on now. So it is important, Mr. Speaker, and we call on this fellow House for us to support this bill, and you may pass it, Mr. Speaker, sir. Logo triple mi fala longo Mosbia, Mr. Speaker, approach that our big brother PMG Emi doing, Emi very practical and very interesting too. All the work together and just passing special economic zone bill, because what I said, there is a lot for us to worry about after the bill is passed in preparatory work, than for to look at, try to be sophisticated and try to be perfecting this falabilia as it is. And good for you pass him and move on. So this time, ought to apply, but at the same time, ought to review, and where necessary, ought to prepare him, ought to amendments and changes that ought can quickly go along with Parliament and amend him and pass him, sir. So let's have that mentality too, Mr. Speaker. May believe this total mentality and good, this whole mentality of you may, adopting a mindset of you may continuous improving things, rather than perfecting everything and then come, which may a little bit impractical and impossible. Let's bring it as it is and have the mentality of then continuous improvement process. I think that's the important thing for us to do, Mr. Speaker. But as we are, Mr. Speaker, me support him this bill, and I may call on for us to pass it along all this time. With these few remarks, Mr. Speaker, sir, I may support the bill and may stop long here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister for Finance and Honourable Member for Northwest Choi Zone. I will now suspend the Parliament, and we will resume again 2:30.